Alright, so I'm going to go throughout the entire Bible and tell you very interesting facts about all the angels mentioned. This includes the angel of the Lord, Michael, Gabriel, the prince of Persia, Satan, Abaddon, and many, many more. However, today's focus will be on the angel Gabriel. If you end up liking this video, please like and subscribe so I know to make more. Thank you. Now let's begin. The Bible tells us many things about Gabriel. The word Gabriel actually has an interesting meaning in Hebrew, which is God is my strength. But what is Gabriel's position in heaven? We obviously know he's a good angel, but what specific roles does he have in the spiritual world? The Bible seems to indicate that Gabriel is a messenger of the Lord. But this doesn't mean to imagine some cute little baby angel, because the people who saw Gabriel in the Bible always got filled with fear. God does not mess around when creating angels. In fact, he doesn't mess around when creating anything. But moving on, it's important to know that Gabriel isn't mentioned as many times as Jesus or Satan, but he still plays a very critical role in major biblical events. So let's get right into it. Gabriel is first mentioned in the book of Daniel, which is located in the Old Testament. The book of Daniel is an extremely interesting and prophetic book. For example, Daniel was captured as a young boy by the Babylonian Empire. He provided King Nebuchadnezzar with the correct interpretation of his dream. If you aren't familiar with this story, I will quickly explain it. Ancient Jerusalem was seized and conquered by the Babylonian Empire due to their insubordinates to God, and God allowed them to be taken over. Within the siege, Daniel was taken into exile and was forced to work at the king's service. Daniel was a young man at this time and didn't know what his future held. Long story short, King Nebuchadnezzar had a very frightening dream that terrified him so badly that he called the wisest men of the empire to help him interpret it. However, the wise men could not interpret this dream, and it infuriated King Nebuchadnezzar. The king replied to the wise men, "This is what I have firmly decided. If you do not tell me what my dream was and interpret it, I will have you cut into pieces and your houses turned into piles of rubble. But if you tell me the dream and explain it, you will receive from me gifts and rewards and great honor. So tell me the dream and interpret it for me." So the wise men basically said, "Let the king tell his servants the dream and we will interpret it." But the thing is, King Nebuchadnezzar wouldn't tell them the dream, and this is why. King answered, "I am certain that you are trying to gain time because you realize that this is what I have firmly decided. If you do not tell me the dream, there is only one penalty for you. You have conspired to tell me misleading and wicked things, hoping the situation will change. So then, tell me the dream and I will know that you can interpret it for me." So the wise men said, "There is no one on earth who can do what the king asks. No king, however great and mighty, has ever asked such a thing of any magician or enchanter or astrologer. The king asks is too difficult, and they do not live among humans." This made the king so angry and furious that he ordered the execution of all the wise men of Babylon. And you gotta remember that this includes Daniel, the young Daniel. So the decree was issued to put the wise men to death, and men were sent to look for Daniel and his friends to put them to death. After this, Daniel was really confused. He basically asked the king's officer, why is he doing this and why is it so urgent that we must die? At this, Daniel went to the king and asked for time so that he might interpret the dream for him. Somehow his wish was granted, only by the power of the Lord. So during the night, the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision. Fast forward in time, the king's officer tells the king that he has found a man to interpret the dream. Daniel replied, "No wise man, enchanter, or magician can explain to the king the mystery he has asked about, but there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. He has shown King Nebuchadnezzar what will happen in days to come. Your dream and the visions that pass through your mind as you are lying in bed are these." And Daniel goes on to tell the king his vision. Now let's fast forward in time to when Gabriel actually comes into play. Now know that Daniel had many visions which he could interpret, but he finally came to one that he could not. Angel Gabriel was called upon to interpret this vision for him. The vision was of a ram and a goat. While I, Daniel, was watching the vision and trying to understand it, there before me stood one who looked like a man. I heard a man's voice saying, "Gabriel, tell this man the meaning of the vision." As he came near the place where I was standing, I was terrified and fell prostrate. "Son of man," he said to me, "understand that the vision concerns the time of the end." While he was speaking to me, I was in a deep sleep with my face to the ground. Then he touched me and raised me to my feet. Gabriel goes on to interpret this vision that Daniel had. In conclusion, Gabriel says, "The vision of the evenings and mornings that has been given you is true, but seal up the vision, for it concerns the distant future." I wonder if that future is talking about today, but that's another video. But getting back to Gabriel, this isn't the last time Daniel would communicate with him. Fast forward to Daniel chapter 9, verse 21. "While I was still in prayer, Gabriel, the man I had seen in the earlier vision, came to me in swift flight about the time of the evening sacrifice. He instructed me and said to me, 'Daniel, I have now come to give you insight and understanding. As soon as you began to pray, a word went out, which I have come to tell you, for you are highly esteemed. Therefore, consider the word and understand the vision.'" But notice how Gabriel is always coming as a messenger of the Lord and providing very critical information to these people. The next time Gabriel appears in the Bible is in the book of Luke. However, this passage that concerns Gabriel is referring to the distant past at the time of Zechariah. In the Bible is in the book of Luke. However, this passage that concerns Gabriel is referring to the distant past at the time of Zechariah. Gabriel ends up telling Zechariah very critical information, like he always does. One day, as Zechariah went into the temple to burn incense before God, an angel of the Lord appeared to him, standing at the right side of the altar of incense. This angel was Gabriel. Gabriel gave Zechariah the news that his wife Elizabeth would bear a son. On a side note, the Bible always talks about the angel of the Lord, and there's a lot of mystery behind this. So what if this angel of the Lord is Gabriel every single time? It could be. It's a good theory. But anyways, let's get back. And Zechariah's son is none other than John the Baptist, who paves the way for Jesus himself. So like I said before, Gabriel is always associated with an extremely important story. And lastly, we come to Gabriel's final mention in the Bible. And this is when Gabriel appears to Mary, the mother of Jesus. Instead of announcing the news to kings or priests, Gabriel was sent to a young virgin named Mary. The young woman had found favor with God and would be the mother of God's son. This is what Gabriel told her. "You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you are to call him Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High. The Lord God will give him the throne of his father David.